What if nothing in your life has been random? What if every challenge, every delay, every moment that stretched you was part of a deeper curriculum your soul agreed to? Sometimes we look back and wonder if we've wasted time, if we've gone the long way round, if we should be further ahead than we are. But what if we're not behind at all? What if you're becoming? Today, we're exploring what it really means to turn life's lessons into embodied wisdom and to live life as a full spectrum human. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Angels and Destiny show, where we explore spiritual wisdom, healing, and transformation to help you take charge of your destiny. I'm Ray Cownan, founder of Radiant Angel Energy, and a spiritual guide and healer, helping you reconnect with your divine presence and create a life of purpose and fulfillment through angelic Reiki, guided meditations, and intuitive journeys across past, present, and future lives. Now, the meaning of angel is messenger, and destiny means to make firm establish. So each week, my guests and I bring you messages to help you ground divine wisdom into your everyday life. Now, in today's episode, I'm joined by Katrina Armstrong, a vision doula, divine activator, and energetic architect, to explore what it truly means to become a full spectrum human. Now, Katrina works with visionaries and conscious leaders who feel called to live with deeper truth and soul alignment. Through her work bridging higher consciousness with the human experience, she supports people in transforming life's experiences, even the difficult ones, into grounded, embodied wisdom. So, if you've ever felt that life that you've been if you have ever felt that life has been preparing you for something more, then this conversation will resonate. So, without further delay, hello, Katrina, and a warm welcome to the Angels and Destinies show. How are you today?
I'm doing really well. I'm so honored to be here and excited for what is already coming through. I love the space that you create for this.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. And to everyone watching, whether you're joining us live or catching the replay, we'd love you to be part of the conversation. So let us know what resonates, ask questions, or share your own experience in the comments. Please don't be shy. And like Caro, say hello. So, Katrina, why don't you share your journey and how we can turn life lessons into wisdom?
Absolutely. I would love to just take a moment. I oftentimes say that I'm more of an experience than something to just receive through the mind. So, just taking a moment to invite everyone back to themselves, really anchoring into the heart, so that as the words, the things are arriving, that they're truly landing in the way that they're meant for you. I really want to begin here by inviting you in. I think that that is one of the most difficult things for us, especially if you're highly sensitive, visionary, you're bringing things to the planet. You have a way of seeing that's unique, different, being able to fully feel what is here right now in this moment. If there's anything that I would love to part ways with you today, there's going to be a lot shared, is that when you allow yourself to feel, to really receive what life is giving you, then it's able to illuminate and invite you into the full spectrum human. So I just want to start there, just inviting you deeper into the space, kind of releasing the mind and landing more fully into the body. So there's a lot to share about me and my journey. I really sense that kind of defining full spectrum human might be a good place to start. When we're looking at a full spectrum human, we are looking at living as your entire self, all of you. But it's really a state of wholeness where your divine essence and your human experience are no longer separated, but synthesized into one radiant expression of truth. And every single one of us, we have a truth. I see truth as resonance. So when I speak truth, I'm really speaking beyond our thoughts and our patterns and our beliefs, but deeper into the core of us, that essence. Because when we touch there, that's where the full spectrum human can come alive. So my journey, when that began for me, was in 2012. I went through one of those radical transformations where people change overnight, And one of the things that came forward was the understanding that I knew all my life that I was called to do something here, that I had a destiny. And no matter how deep I got into my own, what I call curriculum, those life lessons, I call it our curriculum. And it was full. It was full of many different levels of abuse, many different levels of addiction. I was born into a family that was just all over the place, really scattered. But all in all, I knew from a really young age that I had this deeper calling, that there was a destiny, something that was already set for me. And in 2012, after grad school, 3 children, 3 jobs, still struggling with overcoming pain from abusive marriages and friendships and relationships, and found myself waking up on my couch and hearing this message and had a vision. At that time, I was not multisensory like I am now. So it was a little startling, very much called me fully into it. And the message was, you've been in all of these, you've done all of this, do what you came here for. And I couldn't deny that. That message shook me at my core. It lit me up so strongly that my own curriculum, all of the different moments of my life started to flash. All of the things that I had already done. I didn't feel like I was like overly exceeding at life, but I knew that I wasn't totally failing at life. But I knew that this middle ground is not where I belong, that I was struggling and things were still entangled and I didn't know. So I said, yes, I'll do what I came here for. And just that simple yes ignited my core and began to illuminate understanding of what happens when our divine essence truly awakens from within. So getting to see my own DNA lighting up and bringing forward all of these different moments, all of the deepest places of pain, one of which I shared recently on a summit, Women Lighting the Way, actually. And it was about what I call the sneakiest abuse, and that's neglect. Excuse me. Yes, neglect, but also manipulation. When we're truly manipulated to kind of fit into someone else's world, and we're doing our best, and we're struggling, and we're fighting, and we're doing everything we can to belong here. But when we arrive back and touch that essence, we begin to illuminate from the inside out. So my journey with the full spectrum human began at that moment. And over a decade now, walking with women, also men, but visionaries, healers, intuitives that have these big missions. They have these soul callings, and they know that how their design is unique, but they're still struggling with, well, what do I do with this life? How does it come together? How does it synthesize? How do I access all of that? So my journey took me into deep reconstructing on the cellular level. So getting to see and feel and understand, like, what does it actually mean to be here as divine essence in this body? So I was all frequency. I knew everything in my life is frequency. So I was coming from source, coming from that divine essence into life. And my journey was building that bridge, getting to feel and see and understand, well, the pain that we're experiencing, the forms of abuse, what is this really? And where is it guiding us within ourselves? And how do we unravel that? How is it that we can truly anchor ourselves in the knowing in that moment and reclaim? So I have developed many different training grounds, emotional mastery, healing, to bring people back to that, and deep planetary work, so that we're really anchoring into the new earth energy, the energies coming in, the energies that are rising up from the earth, because this body is elemental, it's one with it, and I couldn't stop it. It was happening through me so quickly. So at the heart of all of this, it brought me to the encoded design. realizing that my destiny, my calling was really illuminating and finding how it is that our encoded design fully comes to life here and showing others how to live and move from there so that their visions can come to life, so that they can architect spaces that are truly coherent. Because it always happens from within us before it arrives outside of us. So people understand the difference between how to create. So all of this brought me to the rays of creation, the understanding that everything here came through these rays. So the full spectrum human is really returning back to our original design and utilizing what's been given from the very beginning to reconstruct. So, our live curriculum is so incredibly in sync with our destiny. So, for 6 years, I found myself traveling all over the world in service to the earth, preparing for what's happening right now, this massive unraveling of all of our systems and shifts in our consciousness so that we can really return back into wholeness, which I see as the full spectrum human. A lot of times people see it as it's all bifurcating, it's all falling apart, and my whole being speaks to me about it coming together. So we're being shown, because of how life has happened and the curriculums we've been in, that are retiring, they're dissolving, they're kind of on their last leg. So they're pushing and they're fighting. So those patterns, in each one of us having different ones that speak to us the loudest, are they're coming to their end and they're calling us back. So this journey of returning to the full spectrum human is where our destinies are actually able, where frequency is actually leading us, and the magnetism of what actually matches us can happen. Because depending on where you're at and what you're giving life to in your own curriculum is what's going to be showing up for you. So I'm sure every one of us have experienced a reoccurring pattern, something that just seems to keep coming up or keep showing up. And oftentimes our desire is to push it away, which was huge for me. One of the things that in my agreement to do what I came here for was the agreement to feel again. And I don't mean just some surface level feeling, because we can't really create from there. We're only going to create surface level things. We're only going to be touching small parts of what is actually possible in our curriculum that is so specifically designed for bringing you to life here, fully coherent, fully resourced, and moving as a unit of transformation, or whatever it is that you are here to be bringing to the planet, to be bringing a vision that touches the hearts of many, or to be creating a new way of doing things. Whatever that is, it absolutely requires you to be able to feel, to be able to take life fully in. So one of the main things as I was breathing into the space, and I'm just gonna kind of breathe in right now. I feel like I just landed a whole lot. So I'm just gonna slow it down a little bit and see if there's anything that you would like to reflect on, or anything that you would like me to go deeper in here.
Yeah. Well, before we do that, Cara says, love it. Thank you, Cara. And if you're watching this live on the replay, if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask, then now's the time to do it. And we will circle back, if it's after the show, to them. So, I mean, explain. Most people do know, but for those that don't know, what is the spectrum?
Yeah. So it's really intriguing, because my studies in grad school, everything was about personality and mental health and community development. Like, I was really on the search of, like, how are we designed and what's not working? Like, things are not clicking, they're not syncing, because people are starving, right? There's people that are starving, there's people that are still getting hurt. Understanding my own childhood, which was just havoc, and lots of deep reflection that brought me to that place of there has to be more. Like, what else is there? And I kind of topped out in all of the different archetypes that we had here and found myself in this place in 2012 where it ignited and showed me that in order for this to come here, it has to be walked out. We have to embody it. We have to become it. So I just want to give a little context before I step into it. So when we're talking about the spectrum, so the rays of creation, everything here, and if you notice, over time, we got more and more color, more and more um, creative things that we can do, right? More and more expansion in our consciousness. So every year, this expands. And it's so neat because when the rays come into the planet is around my birthday every year. So it hits me even stronger. So I feel really blessed that that's where I began, was in that connection there. But the spectrum is the ability to perceive, to see beyond what the mind is actually showing you, or beyond what you've been conditioned to see or to understand, right? So each one of us with the curriculum, we chose parents. And I am so grateful that I chose the parents that I did, because they gave me a level of freedom, whereas you could see it as, oh, they were, not responsible. They didn't show up, all of the stories that I had. But what was really cool is there was nuggets of wisdom dropped in there. So my dad is just an extraordinary creator being who, had his own curriculum that he was working through. But in certain moments, he would say things to me like, hey, this whole thing is designed to take care of you. You can't mess this up. And I'm like, oh, this is your way of, not taking responsibility for your own things, right? But as I grew deeper into my connection to my divine essence and began to develop and strengthen that and began to go on that journey of unifying what is true for me through my resonance, I began to notice, wow, that was one of the greatest nuggets of wisdom I could have got at the age of 10, right? And then realizing, wow, you really can't. If you are truly operating and moving in sync, because we're really bound by the illusion that we're in, right? And we always want to push against it or change it, which is so huge in our industry, right? Everyone wants to shift it. How do we do this? And I want it to happen now. And I'm like, no, take a moment and breathe. It's not what you think it is. And I think that's the piece that people are amazed by. So the very thing that we are running away from, hiding from, doing our best not to do, is really what's going to shortcut us and allow us to access greater spectrum. So when I speak about spectrum, one of the things that I'm working with right now is the divine feminine has opened up a whole new spectrum. And there are beloveds, women right now that are being called into that. And they're like, I have no idea what this is. I don't know what it means, but I know that I am changing my mind. I could feel it shifting. I could feel my whole field shifting, but I have no idea what this is. What it is the calling of the destiny, the calling of who it is that you are. Finally, the energies are here to meet you. So to access that, to move into those greater spectrums, we get to look at, which is something we work a lot with mastery, energy mastery and emotional mastery, is, emotions, they're constructs, they're placed here for us, they're tools. And when we're able to become friends with them, actually communicate with them, they open themselves up and begin to show us whole nother levels of them. And when you have opened yourself and are able to shift your perspective in the moment, so I am speaking at a level of, this isn't, it's simple, but it's not something you have to be really committed to be opening into this level of spectrum. But the reward is exponential. The ripple, the amount of resources, the way that the field moves, the way that people meet you. But it really requires that opportunity, or allowing yourself that opportunity to fully feel. What are you actually? I have assigned you this over and over again. And guess what? You keep coming back as that over and over again. So you know what? I'm gonna give you another. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna give you another assignment. You know what? I surrender to you. Show me what you actually are. How are you really moving? Because you keep showing up, and if all things are here to support me, if all things are working in my favor, because I know I am a being here in service and I have favor, then what am I not seeing in you? What are you not what am I not allowing myself to fully receive here? So this way of moving, I just want to give some tools and tips here. So one of the things that I offer those that come into spaces with me is, a way of going to sleep at night and waking up in a childlike wonder, so that you're not assigning things. Because what happens is we imprint our whole reality and we wonder why it's not changing because we've literally set it up a certain way. So we're not able to access more spectrum. We didn't come here to be stagnant beings. We didn't come here to live like, this is my life. I wake up, I do this thing, this. And not that there's nothing wrong with routine, but within that routine, there's so much more vastness and spectrum and dimension to it that you have access to, that can answer in the moment exactly what you need to take that next step, to have that conversation, to motivate yourself, to even show up somewhere. It's all right here for you. You've never been separate from it. The life curriculum is so powerfully designed that you can't be separate from it. So it's always up to you how you're choosing to operate in it, which brings it all back to us. And a lot of times people don't want that. I don't want to be accountable for this. I want my mom to be accountable for this. I want my dad to be accountable for this. Well, you know what you're doing? You're draining all of your power and your life force, and it's never going to work. So,
Oop, so we've just lost Katrina for a second, but no worries. We are in the retrogrades, and she did say that when she works with energy, she can go out and come into other dimensions. So let's see what information she's coming from. And whilst we're waiting, Caleb, I love this live, very insightful. It is very insightful, the information coming through. And yeah, wherever it's taken you.
I was apparently getting passionate there. I was feeling so much flow. So I just want to take a moment and just speak the gratitude. So here I'm also showing you like the gratitude, because I can feel all the hearts that are touching this now and will be touching this going forward. So I also just want to share, I'm getting the message to share. When I first started speaking, I did not want to do this. I resisted it at every way I possibly could, and I physically got moved out of my chair. So if that's you, whoever you are, that's holding, that has the message, even if you're doing it shaking, know that once you begin to open that channel, things are going to meet you. They're going to start speaking to you. And that's the only way. That's the only way that it's going to begin to show up for you. So I don't know who that's for, but that was coming through pretty strongly as I was sharing. So the movement with the, oh, I was going to bring you to the practice. That's what we were doing.
Yeah.
So the difficulty that I have found, and maybe not many people talk about this, is that we imprint our reality. We literally create our own cage. and we were just sharing, like, people don't want to be accountable for that. No, I don't do that. Like, everyone else did this, someone else set this up. But the truth is that the reality is formed through you. You've forgotten that because you don't have access to your spectrum yet. But as simple as this practice that transformed everything in my life. Mind you, I was, as I shared, working 3 jobs, single mom, working 3 jobs in grad school, had absolutely no idea how to come online even, built a easy first year, multi 6-figure business. These things are like, what? Like, why? How does this happen? Well, it began by starting at night. And before I went to bed, I would review my day backwards. And I would begin to unravel it and forgive and notice my own shortcomings. And this is like one of the more humbling things that is the most powerful, because we always want to be right. We want to be the leaders. We want to be the ones that are doing the thing. But the greatest leaders are the most humble. They're actually know that when they are checking themselves, when they're aware of where they're not showing up, that's where the power returns to them. Very powerful message there. Hopefully that lands. um, but yeah, going to sleep at night, I would unravel my day backwards and look at where I could have said something and forgive myself and forgive other people and notice, like, oh, I can do that differently. Until when I go to sleep, I'm literally have nothing I'm carrying over. There's nothing coming into the next day. But when I wake up, I do quite a bit with like coming into my body. But when I wake up, by the time I put my feet on the ground, I decide, wow, or I don't decide, excuse me, I say, I wonder what this ground's going to feel like. Like, what are you actually going to feel like? I'm not going to decide it for night. I'm not going to decide it. I'm going to allow for it to show me what it is. And this simple practice opened up realms and worlds of possibilities. So from touching the ground to going to the handle of the door, what's it going to feel like? And just really unprinting my life in the beginning, or my day in the beginning. And then, it'll show me what it is. And I'm like, oh, you're the same. I don't have to have you be anything, right? That's empowerment. That's sovereignty. So being able to go out through your life in that state is powerful. Of course, the practice of connecting into the heart and into the earth has been extraordinary for me. In fact, I share a lot about, people talk about the ground and being grounded. And I'm like, well, guys, guess what? Where the ground is not the same as it once was. The ground is formed through us. And we are so interconnected to the earth because this is an elemental or body, that when we have that connection, we are creating our reality. We've always have. But the mess and the convolution and the pieces that have been there that have confused us, the things that have been imprinted way before us through generations, is clearing. So now we're like, well, what do I do with this? How do I do that? So the anchoring into the earth and pulling the energy up into your body to support it. We're in agreement with it, right? So if we're just moving around in the imprints all the time, we're not going to get anywhere than where we're at. It may look a little different. You may have certain parts of that spectrum, but if you're truly looking to integrate, to come into the place where your divine essence and your human are synthesized to where your radiant truth is moving, I promise you, life is so much easier. Your mind is not moving all the time. You're able to actually create here ground, true ground. And the earth meets you because you're operating in your essence. So when we look at destiny, it's so interesting. I did an event on destiny recently. It's like, you're destined to be you. You're destined to be all expressions of you. I mean, oftentimes when people go on these kinds of paths, and I did this too, I got stripped all the way down, like literally blank slate. Like, oh, who am I now? How am I moving? And I know a lot of people did that. I mean, I gave my house away. I did all of the pieces when I started to arrive at, oh, I actually am someone that smiles all the time. This is true for me. Wow, I really am someone that genuinely loves to support others. That's true for me. So all of these pieces that we need in order to operate, why things are dissolving, while they're changing, and while you're rising up, because your unique essence is needed here. You wouldn't be here on the planet if it wasn't. So that call isn't going to go away. It's going to keep coming. And you get to decide, do I want to hang out and be pushed into the boxes of the imprints that I've created, or the generations before that are like tapping you on the shoulder? Hey, are you going to let this go? You get to decide that. For me, I could not listen. I said, you win. I get it. I see it. I can't deny this. And that, beloveds, is what just transformed my sight. Like my sight, I feel with my eyes, I hear with my ears. Like my whole sensory is different. Like I am fully here with you, but I'm very aware that everything out here is a 1 and 0, right? And I get to decide what I do with it, and so do you. So that's what's coming through is the night routine, the stepping into the day, not imprinting it, the really allowing yourself to connect into the earth. And this isn't like heart, earth. This is also breathing through the stomach. There's a whole thing I have on pre-processing, being able to, start your day, especially if you're a empath. I'm a massive empath. In fact, I've supported hundreds of people to move from being empathic to being multidimensional, to where that full spectrum can open. There's a reason why you're as sensitive as you are, right? So that movement, I had to be empathic. I was put in environments that were truly unsafe. So I had to know, like, well, what are they actually doing? And I had to be steps ahead of them, right? So to unravel all those survival ways of doing things doesn't mean you lose them. You don't lose them, but they integrate. They come fully into the essence, to where there's nothing in your nervous system getting charged when things are happening, but it's just a knowing, there it is. Okay, breathe there, move there. So pre-processing, we may be able to speak a little bit on that here. So this journey of pre-processing every morning after I wake up, after I unimprint everything, because I already cleared it from the day before. So it's really difficult for me if people come to me and they're like, oh, that thing. And I'm like, I'm hearing this is where you are and I can be here for you, but I've already released this. That doesn't exist within me anymore, right? Which is the thing. That's why people get illness. So many beloveds, like I'm an extremely powerful healer. I will just admit that, but I don't put that out there. But people find me, and levels of cancer, like whatever it is, and it's all things that have been stored within the body, and reconnecting to that. So pre-processing allows you to do that. So if you are someone here that's struggling with something, it is your body's way of saying, hey, I need you to reconnect with me. I have wisdom here for you that wants to lead your way. There's a part that wants to activate within you that's holding coding. Your coding. People use this word so freely, but I'm speaking here from your unique coding, who you are, how you create here, how it is that your essence is able to take form in your creations, in your visions, and they're being clogged, they're stuck. So this way of connecting, this pre-processing, also allows you to connect there. Wow, I feel like I'm just touching everywhere today. But the journey for me, and I feel really blessed to have got to train with some really powerful energy masters that have reflected back what I've known from higher realms of understanding. And I've taught etheric psychic surgery to people. I used to do all types of trainings for people. But the pre-processing is really the opportunity to fully drop in to your body, to release any and all things that you are currently holding, known or unknown, here in this now. I feel like this might be our practice. And it really allowing yourself to arrive. Notice anything that's pulling on you. I need to do this. This thought is there. Noticing it and just bringing yourself fully back. Connecting in to the heart. Here I'm just speaking the language of creation, just enhancing the field that we are in, the space here for max possibilities and connection. So reconnecting to the heart. Deep breath. Bringing that awareness down to the stomach. And bring your breath with you to the stomach. And here, if there's a thought, whether it's abundance or joy or clarity, just placing that word, it might be a symbol for you, in your mind's eye. And just keep bringing your awareness back to that as you're breathing into the stomach, and let anything rise up and fall, rise and fall. Being here, fully here, nowhere else. Notice when you're pulling yourself away. Pure magic. This is where grace happens, right here. Just anchoring the space a little more. Bring yourself back to the symbol, the word, and the mind's eye here. Say, as I open up into this day, receiving any and all feelings, emotions, thoughts, things that could happen here, for I know that they already exist within me. So choosing to breathe through it now before you step into that conversation, before you step into that workspace, into that project. So as you're here, it unravels it, reveals it for what it truly is. No charge, no need to solve. It's already done when we meet ourselves here. Deep breath. Now inviting yourself ahead of you, already showing up in all the places that you're going to touch this day, all the people that you're going to connect with. Notice anything in your body you're feeling. For me, I'm feeling a little tightness in my shoulder. So I'm bringing my awareness there, knowing that it is wisdom, revealing to me what my curriculum has brought me. And I'm unraveling it now. Inviting in the connection to the highest level of you as well, to meet you, to synthesize, to illuminate, to anchor you here and now. Here I'm just speaking into your higher realms, calling for more grace, more ease, and the fullness of you to arrive here, for we need you. Giving love to all those parts of you, that the younger parts that don't quite know how they move yet, or don't remember truly. Create the space for them. Show them that you're guiding them, and they will open up so many different facets of the spectrum of the full human that you are. All of it and none of it, all at once here. All of humanity exists within each one of us. And what a gift that is. So here, just touching your own heart and your womb. Whether you're a man or a woman, you all have an etheric womb. We are all being called in fully into the embodiment of the full spectrum human. And I am excited to see what each one of you do with that. Whew.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. That was lovely. Couldn't quite get into it fully because my ribs are still hurting. So breathing's a little bit difficult at the moment with the deep breathing. But what I did get was really nice. So please do let me know if you followed that live, or if you're watching the replay, how you found that. Um, because even the little bit I felt was was really good. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be listening back and uh, and trying that. And that's what you kind of like do every morning. You're reprocessing.
Yeah, every morning. It may look a little different, as you grow in your connection with self. You gain more access, right? So more opens, more reveals itself. So there is you know, and as you do so, your own field begins to expand, right? So we want to know, like, well, how do I becoming magnetic? How is it, and there's, little things that you can be given that maybe are little bites, but if you're really looking to sustain that, to and this is what I'm watching with the visionary women that I'm working with, is they're standing up in themselves, and they're making choices, and they're shifting things, like relationships that are not really healthy or supportive for them, or ways of moving that aren't going to work anymore. It's all about reconnecting and being able to be consistent, and how you're showing up for you, right? Because then everyone else wants to show up for you. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much. And Caro says activating.
Aw, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. So, as you know, I do guided meditations and angel oracle cards, and each week I like to ask my guests what they would like me to do. So, Katrina, would you like me to do a guided meditation or pull an oracle card for yourself and those watching?
Let's do an oracle card. I think we just did the meditation.
We did. It worked out perfectly. And of course, I've got the cards in my hand as we speak. So as always, when I do the cards for what we need to know for our highest good at this moment in time. Because even though I work with the past and I take people into the past, it's so they can learn, understand, heal from, so it doesn't affect them in the present. And when I take people into the future, it's so they can see, know, and understand their future, the steps they need to take, so that they're not worried. So they're fully back in the present. They're not worried about the future. So what does Katrina and everyone who's watching this, either live or the replay, need to know for their highest good at this moment in
I'm
time?
so excited.
Yes, I'm just chucking cards everywhere as I do that.
That must be the one.
Well, actually, we got 3 cards.
Of course.
Of course, why wouldn't we get 3 cards? So the cards that wanted to come out, absolutely perfect as always. They tie with what we've been talking about. Unknown territory, you're exactly where you need to be.
Ooh, love it.
Breaking trail, a breakthrough is at hand.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that.
And grace and gratitude. Through gratitude, joy expands.
Wow. Ooh, that was a
Um,
big
I
message.
know. Um, they tie in exactly with what you've been talking about, and also confirmation about what you're doing. So yeah, so for those of you watching, just remember you are exactly where you need to be at this moment in time. And that when you step into that and you allow that to happen, then the breakthrough is at hand, because you're not looking around for lots of different things. You're just here in the present. So when that thing does come in, you notice it and you can act on it in a split second, and be grateful for everything that you've got going on in your life at the moment, and to allow that joy and that gratitude to actually expand within your heart. And when you're in that stillness of exactly where you need to be, that brings the light around you and brings the opportunities to you, so you can actually take that step and do those. So yeah, so they're beautiful cards that came out. Um, and Caro says, Love the cards. Awesome. Thanks for sharing my powerful reading. It was. And just so much confirmation with what Katrina's been talking about. So, Katrina, do you have any insights or thoughts or last words of wisdom you'd like to leave our viewers with?
Yes, the practices that's been shared here, it's really all bringing you back into coherency. Because when you're coherent with you, you can live through life instead of life living through you. And when all of those things in your life are living through you, you're scattered, all your energy's everywhere. And it's so important right now to be fully here in us and able to live through life to where you're the one that's creating the ground and it's meeting you, which is more than possible for everyone here. I love the breakthrough card because that's the message I got was like, hey, the frequencies that are moving through this call are bringing forward and the breakthroughs that are already there for the beloveds here. It's like they're already here. Receive it. Allow yourself to have it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautiful words of wisdom. Thank you so much. And a great reminder for all of us. So I hope everyone, you've enjoyed this conversation and found it insightful, because I know I definitely have. And please do let us know in the comments. So if people want to connect with you, Katrina, how do they do that? And do you have anything coming up in the future? Any free gifts offers or anything you'd like to share?
Yes. Facebook's a great place. Katrina Armstrong on Facebook. The link will be below here. I do offer 15, 20-minute conversations just to see where you are and if I can give you any guidance in support of you. I have a powerful anchor point called Unravel that I just opened that for a select few people that includes a heart healing session, this incredible revolutionary healing practice. And yeah, going forward, I have emergence. Emergence is the ground. That's the place where all of my presence is at right now and watching the breakthroughs and the transformations there. But yeah, Facebook is a great place to find me at this moment.
Cool. And I'll put the link and any other links that we've got in the comments. So thank you so much, Katrina, again, for sharing your journey and your wisdom with us. It's been an inspiring conversation. And thank you to those of you that were watching live and interacted whilst we were live. And for those of you watching the replay who are going to who's going to act with the replay and maybe ask some questions and say hello. So thank you again all so much for joining us today. And of course, if you'd like to deepen your connection with the angels, then you'll find my free 5-day angel connection journey linked in the description. And you'll also find details about my Angel Wings membership and the Soul Path Discovery program if you feel called to explore further. And of course, if you enjoyed this episode, you'll love the other conversations in my Angels and Destiny playlist. It's filled with guidance, healing, inspiring stories from people very similar to Katrina who want to share their journey, their information with you. There's so inspiring stories and guidance that support your spiritual journey. So, check it out now. It's on my YouTube channel under podcasts, Angels and Destiny Show. And you can watch any show. They're not in any order. You just find whatever subjects you need to know about or whichever title resonates and go and watch it. You'll be amazed at the information that comes through to you that you might need at that moment in time. And of course, if you are watching this on YouTube, then don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button and share the video with anyone who might need a little angelic guidance today. And remember, you are never alone on your path. The angels are always with you. Take care, everyone. Bye.